Hi folks, this is a little tutorial video on how to access Google Classroom, also how to create a Google Doc, some basic navigation for Google Drive, and just a little bit on how to create a Google document and turn in something in Google Classroom. So these are going to be the primary things that we're going to be using these web sort of home bases for. So like I said, I'm just going to go kind of briefly through these things, and I'm going to start from sort of the basics with logging into your Google Apps account and sort of what that kind of looks like. And I'm going to be logging in under a test account to kind of show you what it would look like as a student, as you know, logging in as a grad student or an instructor might look a little bit different than it might look for you guys. So where we're going to start is we're going to start here at the UMass homepage. If you look up in your upper right hand corner here, you're going to see this email button. We're going to start there. If we click on that, you're going to see the apps at UMass Amherst and this log into Google Mail button. So we're going to click on that. We're going to put in our NetID and password. Now, like I said, I'm going to be logging in with a slightly different account here, and so that's why I'm doing this and not using my own. Okay. All right, and we're just going to close that. So again, this is going to take us into the Gmail account. So you guys actually have that. Unfortunately, grad students and instructors still don't. Normally, as an instructor, I might start in my calendar, but either way, this is beginning you inside your apps account. So what we want to do is we want to find this little button up here in this upper right-hand corner that kind of looks like a keypad for an old phone. So we're going to kind of be looking at a couple of different things. We're going to be looking at Drive, so I'm going to open that up. And then we're also going to be, okay, that's great. We're also going to be looking at Google Classroom. So you'll notice that there's a More option here. Google Classroom right now, because it's relatively new, is always going to be down though. So we're going to click More, and then we're going to click on this Classroom button here, and that's also going to open up Google Classroom. Now, again, this is an example course that IT uses as we're beginning to support Google Classroom. So this is a fake department and a fake class within that fake department that we always use in IT for our examples. So this is the cryptozoology intro class, and this will be kind of what we'll be looking at. So for Google Classroom, if you click on the class that you're enrolled in, you're going to notice this is pretty similar to how ours looks. You've got these three different options. You've got the stream where sort of everything is going to be, so announcements, posts from you guys, posts from me, and also these assignments. Now these are all different assignments that are sort of example assignments in this particular class. We'll look at those in just a second. As I talked about a little bit in our first meeting, we also have the classmates section, which will list out all of the students that are in the class, and you'll be able to, if they have email accounts, so you can see these two test accounts have email accounts, you'll be able to click on this and use the UMass Apps Gmail to email each other if you need to. You also have the About section. The About section is going to have things like the room number, the email for the teacher, and then some of these course requirements. Now, again, as I mentioned in our first class, and for those of you who weren't there, please don't mess with this Google Drive folder for right now, because I've already made a Google Drive folder, and I found that the one that Classroom creates some sort of unique issues with sharing. So we're just not going to mess with this folder at all. So just don't even click on it. I'll show you where yours will be. Again, we're going back to the stream here. So the way that the assignments work is it's pretty simple. You have sort of a list of upcoming assignments over here that'll give you sort of the date that they're due and allow you to kind of click on them and open them up. Now, these assignments were all made a long time ago. You can see last October. So this particular test student is extremely late. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the name of the assignment, and that's going to open it up. Now, when you guys are writing your letters for each other, you have a couple of different options. You can create a letter in Google Drive and then sort of add it to this, or you can just kind of create the letter in Google Classroom, share it to the people that you want to share it with, and then submit it. I think that second option is a lot simpler. So I'm going to show you kind of how that looks. You'll notice there's nothing done here, and we haven't marked anything as done because we haven't turned anything yet. So we're going to click on this Create button, and it's going to give us some options of what we can create to turn in. So we're going to choose Document. Now that's going to open up a new Google Doc in just a second. Okay. So you can see that by creating this Google document, we now have something. It basically has a name that's the exact same as the name of the assignment, and then our name attached to it, which is actually kind of fine for what we're doing. But I'll show you how we can change that. So if we click on this, it's actually going to open up a new tab, and it's going to actually open up the Google Doc that we just created. Now we don't have anything in here right now because we haven't written anything yet. But again, it's really useful to note that Google Drive is going to save everything that you do as you do it. So I'm going to type in a couple of pieces of text here. And you'll notice that all changes are saved in Google Drive. So as we do new things, it's going to save every time that we move. So that's anything that happens on your computer that makes your computer shut down. If your computer crashes for some reason, it doesn't matter. This is all saved in the cloud now. So that's one of the other really great benefits of that. So you're going to see that you're going to be able to save. If you click on the title here, we can change this to AC Stu 1. That's my name. First assignment or something. I'm just showing you that you can change the title here. We change the title of the assignment. And now here up in the right hand corner, you have your share button. So if you want to share it with somebody else, so again, for the purposes of writing these letters for this class, you're going to want to share it with the person you're writing the letter for. Otherwise, I'm the only person who's going to be able to see it, you and me. And that's not going to be super useful for the person that you're actually intending the letter for. So I'm going to share this with ACSU too, because they're another person, I guess. And then I'm going to let them edit it if they'd like. But we could also choose to make it sort of just commentable or able to view. But for the purposes of this, making them, allowing them to edit is probably fine. So you see that now we have the send button. So now it's going to notify that person that they have now been shared on this particular document. And now because we did this through Google Classroom, there's a turn in option. We're going to click on that turn in button. And it's going to ask, are you sure you want to turn in this? And you have the option to add a comment if you'd like. You can see that this is the Google document that we just turned in, and we're going to click on the turn in button. Okay, so now it's turned in, and now we see that that red not done that was over here is now turned to a green done, which means that it's now done. So we have a couple of different things that we can look at now. We've got the your work, we've got the instructions, these different tabs, and if we go press back over here, we'll see that now this has gone from being late to done, and now it's got that pretty little green check mark there to let us know that it's done. So that's basically all you need to know about turning in an assignment. And it's going to be the exact same for every assignment. It's much easier to do it through here than it is to create a document in Google Drive and then share somebody and then attach it as a submission. So this is, I think, the much faster, streamlined version of that. So if we want to just take a real quick look at Google Drive here, we're going to go back into this tab now, close these up. We probably don't need all that. You can see that again, this is just a test account, so there's just some random stuff in here that we've done to kind of test out the Google Drive options. So this is what your drive is going to look like. It's going to be very similar. You're going to have a lot of space. It's really good to know that the UMass Apps option allows you to actually have an unlimited amount of space, so you can save anything in here. You have an unlimited amount of space, so all of your documents, you can back up basically all of your UMass stuff here if you need to do that. So you guys have this, and I don't feel like they, sort of announce that to you guys as much as they probably should. But so there's lots of different things that you can create. You can create new folders to organize things. If we want to drag documents in here, we can do that to back things up. We can create our own Google Docs. Again, it looks exactly the same as when we did the Google Doc in Google Classroom, only the turn in button has disappeared because we're no longer sort of inside that. But the sharing option is still there. So for the purposes of our class, we're going to have a folder for you guys to turn in your submissions so that people can always see them and they can choose to print them out or just look at them digitally. So all you'll need to do for those folder and those weekly folders is I'll show you. Well, let's say this is the week 1 folder that's been kind of created in our shared classroom folder. If you want to go in and you want to put in your submission for the week, you can just go in there, click New, click Google Doc. We're going to create one here. Change the name to AC Stew 1, title, and then let's say also the date. So today is the 25th. So I'm going to put that in there as well. Now this is probably a pretty good format because that's going to make things really easy to organize. If you only put the title, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to figure out who posted it. And for my tracking purposes, it would be really helpful if you could put in your name. So let's say that your name is John AC Stew 1. And then this is the title of your piece, and then this is the date that you turned it in. So now that's what we've got. So submission, this is it. Okay. All right, so we can see that Google Drive is saving up here. It just saved it. I'm going to leave it there. We don't need to do any sharing settings because it's already going to be in a shared folder. So you guys are all set. So now that that's all saved, we can click out and go back in, and you can see now that that's in there. So this is the only thing that you're going to need to do is just kind of figure out what week folder are we going to be looking at, and then creating a Google Drive document for it. So that's pretty much all you'll need to know about that. As we go through, I'll also be sending you guys different PDFs and videos and things like that, like this video, and you'll all be able to access all those things in Google Drive. So that's pretty much all I've got for basics on Google Drive and basics on Google Classroom. And of course, you can always let me know if you need more guidance on this, and I'll be more than happy to talk you through it.